Hi, I'm Jamie DeVries, and I'm here with Calvin Chan to discuss Netflix with regards to big data, and more on closely, discussing the recommendations algorithm. In our report, we will go over Netflix's algorithm, which uses big data to determine recommendations for end users, and is also used as a way to survey which genres and shows are viewed enough to produce. The primary goal of our report is to propose new and improved ways in which the algorithm can track and seek out different kinds of data in order to improve the search quality and performance of Netflix's service. Netflix's algorithm basically acquires the data collected from previous customer engagements and uses these data to propose videos and media that would best suit the user's interests. They use data which includes show ratings, recently viewed media, geographical trends, and trends on visual aids, which is actually a more recent form of data that they've begun collecting. This is actually just a sample of what the algorithm and the client would look like from an end user. The issue moving forward is that Netflix isn't keeping up with their algorithm technology, and then they're not harnessing the full potential with all of the data available today. It is known that many users are switching over from localized content to streamed on-demand content, meaning more and more competitors will begin crowding the market. One of these examples is Amazon, who has started to use a service which streams content. Companies have realized the importance of the search and recommendation algorithms, and many companies are actually beginning to catch up with Netflix. Netflix is actually aware of this. They've created contests and motivational tools to get third-party developers to come up with ways to increase the quality of recommendation algorithm by 10%, which is they've also actually set up a second challenge, which has actually motivated external teams to come up with a way to improve the algorithm based on a secondary situation where the customers actually don't choose to rate any of the movies. A sample of another company that is using similar algorithms and services that we discuss is Android and the Google Now experience. Android and Google platform essentially collect all of the data possible on the user's smartphone, from social media to discussion posts online to text messages, and tailors a news feed and interactive set of applications that are set up for the user as the day progresses. I will now hand it over to Calvin, who will discuss the rest of our report.
Okay, so this is our SoftWorks methodology system. It begins with your users or consumers, which is the ultimate end goal is to provide them with new recommendations and new content for them to watch, and also for your producers to know which content to purchase or to invest in the future. It's pretty simple. There's two sources of data mainly. First is the user-generated data, basically is searches or views or current recommendations or genres or just general things like that, or what you have from that is the trends and patterns. So you see this guy is always watching, let's say, action movies with a certain actor or a certain actress, and you notice that he really loves this type of movie, but you also notice that he avoids certain types of movies as well. So you combine that with the existing data, and you know that, and you compare him against millions of other users, and you know it's a general trend that a lot of people don't like these kind of movies and they're not really watched. However, you also notice that this genre or this segment is poorly served. There's too many users watching few little films, so you want to know, okay, we got to acquire more films or shows that are in that genre, and that's where you go to the original content producers or the content licensees to buy new content or even produce it originally, like House of Cards or Orange is the New Black. And from then on, you get your new content / newly acquired content, and it goes back to the users, consumers, and they continue to aggregate data for you in a continuous cycle. And that's why it's also big data, because not only are you getting data from users, you're getting data from data. Second stream of data is your opt-in data from other web services such as Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, eBay, any kind of web service that has a lot of choice in them, and you opt in, of course, because of privacy concerns, and data is collected and mined from those sources, and they bring it back to you. It's say, for example, users looking for a certain DVD, a rare DVD on eBay that can't be found, or it's very, very expensive. Instead of using that as data to sell you an ad, you use it as data to provide the content that people are looking for on eBay or Amazon into content that's available on Netflix. So same thing, you combine and compare the existing data into original content or content licensees and into newly content for the users. And again, you continue to generate more and more data, because sometimes it's a hit and miss. Sometimes you get something that you think you need, but in the end it's not really needed. Our next portion is also basically how our system works. We have internal data and external data. External data would be the data from the opt-in programs, as we have previously stated, and those are the inputs. You have your user data, like direct, hard, real data, like actually people saying, I like Bruce Willis, for example. And then you have the self-generated aggregated data, such as view counts or searches or stuff like that. And then of course you have your mined data from the other web services. Same process. You compare real data with aggregated data. You find the differences, and then at the end you have just justification for either new recommendations or new content, and new content flows back to the users. And once you have new content with new users, you have new data, and with a bigger sample size, your information only gets more accurate. Implementation is really dependent on the user. Netflix will have to enter into agreements with other social media sites and search engines to see if they're willing to send data, and of course other way around too, right? A lot of times you should try to reverse engineer different similar algorithms that they use to increase better search results, and use social media tools such as Hootsuite or other kind of tools that gather metrics for you and convert that into information for Netflix to supply correct content to the correct users. Of course, it's all optional, so you might have to have some kind of incentives for the users to be able to opt in. In conclusion, I think that this is a really effective way, and honestly, a lot of different services are already doing the same thing, whether it be for Facebook or Amazon or Twitter. They're using, everything is interconnected nowadays. I mean, even on your phone, you have take one picture, you can share it to like 15, 17 different apps and social media websites, and you can edit it, you can send it away, you can delete it. There's just so much ways to use data, and there's so many. And with today's interconnectivity, it makes it real sense for us to share data among information companies rather than entertainment companies. And that's it.